We're here today at the Oregon Cattlemen's Association emergency hay haul down into the Jordan Valley area, and we're standing here with Curtis Martin, the president of the Oregon Cattlemen's Association that led the effort very quickly after the wildfires broke out in this part of the country to establish the RESTOR task force. And so Curtis, why don't you give us your perspective on what you're seeing here today, and what do you see as we move out in looking for solutions into the future?
Yeah, well, thanks a lot, and I really appreciate the opportunity to do this. And the thing that's so overwhelming about today's efforts is the magnitude of the volunteer effort, the trucks that are here, the hay that's been donated. This immediacy is just phenomenal when you take in consideration that less than a month ago our RESTOR task force wasn't even in existence. So it's really a pretty amazing effort that's been pulled together here recently, and with that I sure want to say thanks to Colby Marshall, who is the lead of our task force, the RESTOR task force. So he's been doing heroic efforts 24/7 and going full bore, so we really appreciate that. You know, this is kind of a response to the immediate effort, or the immediate need of what these folks are looking at down here, where their ground has been burned off and there is absolutely no forage left for huge amounts of cattle. We were just discussing that between the fire previously and the one that's going on now, or the several that are going on now, that there could be very well in excess of 15,000 to 20,000 head of mother cows displaced for the upcoming season, and where are they going to go? So right now this is an effort with this hay that's behind me and that's coming in, is an effort right now to alleviate the immediate problem, but more importantly, or just as importantly, is the long-term solutions to how we are going to manage these grounds that have been burned off and extensively depleted of any forage. What we're hopeful is that this is going to be a catalyst that we can kind of think outside of the box. And when I say we, I'm thinking not only the producers, but also the agencies that are directed to manage these resources, these public lands. And we have to remember that not only the public lands have been damaged and burned off, but there's been a huge amount of private ground that's been gone up in smoke, along with the habitat, the wildlife, and all of those things that we have to take into consideration. So on the long-term effort, we're really wanting to have the congressional folks to step in here, understand, talk to these producers, because we're looking at generational ranchers here that have a huge amount of wisdom and history, that really do know what the resource is capable of recuperating on its own, and that talent and that ability needs to be brought into the picture. So we're really hopeful that maybe out of the tragedy of what's gone on here in the last 35 to 45 days in southeastern Oregon and northern Nevada, western Idaho, that all of these entities can come together and not, it's not a respecter of state lines or district lines or anything like that. We need to look at the resource and the intricacies that are involved locally with these communities and these producers, and not only the economic aspect of maintaining the viability of these folks here, but also the resource in general for the multiple use concept of wildlife and the sage grouse and all the entities that need to be brought into the equation. So we're hopeful in the next couple of months that we're going to be able to bring together roundtable discussions and really have an adult discussion with the science to bring credible opportunities and solutions that maybe haven't been looked at before. So that's what our main goal is.
Well, thank you very much, Curtis, for your work as the Cattlemen's president and working so rapidly to move the task force into place and to spearhead this effort we see here today. So we sure appreciate the work you're doing.
Okay, well, thanks a lot. Appreciate the opportunity.